Welcome to another live edition of 5 Paragraph. Thank you for joining us. My name is Michael J. Penny. This is 5paragraph.com on Facebook, doing a live thing. And then, we turn these into blogs and stuff. So whenever you see this, hello. Some folks have asked us, hey man, what's up with your weird logo? Looks like a P with like 2 sticks and stuff. All right, so folks who don't know, this is a Pilcrow, or a paragraph symbol. It basically is an indent. So if you're going to write something, a Pilcrow is one of those editorial symbols that you'll see. So if you turn on symbols, a Pilcrow will be over here. And then you'll see like the words, right? That's a Pilcrow. It's a paragraph thing. So we turned it around, turned it into a P. There you go. Why the crazy logo? The hell, man? Pilcrow. Learn something new every time over here at 5P. You ready? Here we go. All right. On this 5-paragraph episode, what we're going to do is we're going to go over HECOA unit ownership and what it looks like from a model. If for those of you who are like, all right, man, I'm over the owner-operator stage. I don't really care about starting something out of my house. Totally understand. A lot of HECOA units are ran out of offices, right? What I'm trying to get at when I say that on some of these different videos is you can start it out of your house. Doesn't mean they have to. All right, what does it look like from an office perspective kind of a deal? Okay, so here's the way my brain works. Ideas are like seeds, and you got to plant the seed. So what I like doing is starting with a 5-paragraph vision. Okay, now this is from an executive leadership standpoint. Why do I start it at the bottom? Because it's a seed, and then everything's going to grow out from there. If you haven't figured that one out yet. Let's put a nice seed here. Maybe it'll come across like that. Oh, that's very nice. Want my seed? All right, so this is executive level. Yeah, I get it. Normally it's written like a pyramid thing or whatever. Not round here. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel by any means, but what I'm trying to do is show you how this builds out of just your location and then what you can actively do as you grow the organization. All right, so here is the executive level with the 5-paragraph. Here is your GM. They too are going to have a 5P. Ooh. Feel a sneeze coming on, people. The pollen is out here in North Carolina. They're going to do a 5-paragraph also. And then they are working with an admin. By admin, I mean administrative personnel. I do not necessarily mean a personal admin. All right, why is that? Their duties are going to be pertaining to, at least in a HECOA unit, call-outs, quality control, quality assurance, all of that other good stuff, or QA, QC, you get it? So this is what the unit is going to look like at first, which, if done correctly, looks like a flux capacitor. Nailed it. All right, so these admin, like I said, they're going to be doing this right here, this. Put a dot around this mother trucker. Other personnel can be ran in the office, and that's totally fine. I would also say that if you wanted to, you could do sales. Why do I put them on hemispheres? Because typically they work better if they're integrated across teams, but then meet together with a GM. Sales guys like being separated for some reason. All right, so from the executive role, this is more outbound, right? This is more you're getting out there, you're amongst the population, all of that other good stuff. I say it this way because from an executive role, they could potentially do something along like admin. And again, this is speaking in context to 5-paragraph. So it's providing the administrative staff within there. Admin might be HR, admin might be doing office managerial work, some sort of secretarial work, something like that. And then over here you have logistics. So I say it that way because logistics outbound is going to be doing events, trade shows, different stuff like that. Or if you're, if you're like me and you enjoy going and doing speaking engagements and stuff, logistics could be associated with that, how you're actually going to get out there and engage with all of these different folks. So this is internal, this is external, this is operations, this is executive. Operations is your GM. So if you're one of those potential HACOA unit owners who are looking at this more so as a great investment opportunity to be able to work an office unit with a GM and potentially up to 4 staff, we can definitely help you with that. We help establish each one of the HACOA units as they're stood up. So if you're interested in running the licensing option, franchise option, whatever the case may be, you can check out the landing page. I've got it in there. It's a quick bit.ly link. It says HACOA Op on there. So go ahead, check that out. And you're going to be sent over to the HACOA website opportunity, what have you, so that you can learn more about HACOA as an entire organization. Also, be sure to check out HACOA.com. All right, so if you're like me and you would rather play the executive role more so than the operational role, can you start in here and then grow this way? Yes, that's the intention. Can you start this way and go that way? If you have the money, if you're already starting with enough working capital to where you can hire those individuals, absolutely. So if you're coming into it and you want to be an owner-operator to where you're working that and it's more along the lines if you want to be able to grow it, that's completely understandable. When we were first talking with Ammon Lang, who is an owner-operator who works with a GM, he is in this role. He works for the GM, Mr. Steve Haft. We've had him on the podcast, Cigars and Sea Stories. They're both fellow Marines. They're both MPs. And but they share the duties inside of the office as far as from the administrative personnel and some of the other stuff when they originally started the unit, right, in standing everything up. So we are helping them from an advisor perspective and how they can prioritize what they need to take care of first in order to stand all of this stuff up, in order to provide that service as far as contracting is concerned to the greater Salt Lake City area. So there's one proof positive in how we're helping out HACOA. So let's just, yeah, there you go. You can see it quite well. So this is a HACOA unit. So you can go to the link that I've gotten there, which is the HACOA Op. Ooh, the finger. All right, you can go to the link that I've gotten there, which is the HACOA opportunity, or you can check out HACOA.5paragraph.com. I'm going to make you lean in on this one. And remember, I always like telling you guys, we take pictures of all of our, all of these hand-drawn notes and everything else. We take photos of them. We share them on Instagram. We share them on here. So look for those as they continue to bubble up. If you're interested in the HACOA opportunity, each new HACOA unit is stood up on 5-paragraph business plan, and it is part of the package when you're coming in the HACOA family. We've been all over the place in a variety of different industry sectors with the 5-paragraph business plan, and I got to say it's a great fit working with HACOA, specifically from my veteran background and being a grunt and other stuff like that. They definitely understand what it's like, working outside, being rough and tumble all day, working around contractors, whether you're an independent contractor or a general contractor, whatever the case may be. So this is what a breakdown of an executive side and a general manager inside of the office for a HACOA unit would look like. If you're interested in the HACOA opportunity, you want to deep dive more into it, check out the link that I've got in the description of this live. But also, if you're more interested in understanding how 5-paragraph fits into the equation, you yourself are interested in our services as 5-paragraph advisors and a business development group, please check out hacoa.5paragraph.com and remember, the paragraph thingy, pop quiz. What is that called? The Pilcrow. Yeah, you're gonna have to rewatch the video to see what the hell I'm talking about. All right, so hacoa.5paragraph.com. Learn more about HACOA. Learn more about how 5-paragraph fits into this. And really, when you see this, I want you to understand, God, I love visual models because I'm a dork for freaking dry erase and turn charts and all of that other stuff. These threads to where you have an actual skilled labor personnel, and sales is definitely skilled labor. I think there are some people who would disagree with me on that one. When these go out, each one of them are just fragmentary orders. So if it exists out in this space to where you're actively getting stuff done, you're doing a fragmentary order. And all you're doing is you're sharing it across these threads in that smaller, just situation, mission, execution. Boom, boom, boom. If there needs to be a support plan specifically for that mission, then you need to brief it. If there needs to be some sort of command element, another team is going to be helping out, there's some sort of joint coordinated event or whatever the case may be, then that needs to be briefed in one of these fragmentary orders. But really, you've got the overall vision that's happening here, and then taking that vision right to the general manager inside of the office while using that vision in order to go out and execute in these other different various roles. And I'll be honest with you, once logistics, let's say for instance, this turns into an event coordinator, then that would be another 5-paragraph, so long as they're internal to the team. If your event coordinator wants to use the 5-paragraph business plan, awesome. It's available on Amazon. With your administrative staff, again, this is executive, so this is outboard. It might be an executive assistant, for instance. It might be some people call them handlers or whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call them from an executive role. But they are not necessarily required in operating on the business plan. What they do have is a working knowledge of this text. Super easy, part of the onboarding package, part of the orientation that you get as a HACOA unit owner. It was awesome seeing Ammon Lang show up with his wife Curie and had just written all inside of this thing, and it was just really, really cool. So it's a humbling moment when you see people who actually take that which you've offered up out of there, from an education standpoint, and really see it proof practice. So if you're interested in anything that I have gone over this entire live event, to include the Pilcrow, which is the paragraph symbol, and our crazy logo, by all means, hit me up personally in a private message, whatever you want to do. Hit us up across the 5-paragraph. Contact us over 919-827-0898, which is our office number. It's also available on the website. Go through, see the testimony, see what other people are saying about 5-paragraph. HACOA right now, and I might as well, I'll write it out. I don't really care. So if this fits you, if you are a veteran who is interested in HACOA unit ownership, everybody see that bad boy? Hope so. It's kind of off kilter, isn't it? I'll just put it up here. So veterans, and then U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Army, combat related, so some sort of combat arms, because running a HACOA unit is like running an operations center. So running a combat arms, operations center. Like if you were S3, too easy. If you were in so if you were in FDC, it really works. If you were an artilleryman or something like that, it would probably be a good fit. Infantry, from a patrol leader standpoint, if you're ever on a PB or if you're on a FOB or anything else like that, to where you're operating continuously, it could be a good fit. I mean, honestly, from a Marine Corps combat infantry standpoint, this feels a lot like an operations center, and you're deploying through work order contractors to people who are in need. So it's kind of like running QRF missions, if you're familiar with it. I think I've said so many initials that all of the civilians have finally tuned off. So veterans, USMC, U.S. Army, combat arms related, 2+ years out. Why do I say it that way? Stability standpoint. If you're coming straight out of the military, even get your bearing in the civilian world, because things are entirely different. So take that from experience, because things are entirely different when you're off base. 2+ years out, it's just kind of a general thing. And then potentially retired. So if you're a retiree, whether that's medical retirement or a full-fledged 20+ year retirement, whatever the case may be, those are some of the qualifiers for what veterans, USMC, U.S. Army, combat arms, 2+ years out, retired. And I would say you have, I mean, this is just from my own, standpoint. I wonder if I can reach all the way over here. Oh, yeah. All right. I would put in here, from a combat standpoint or from a veteran standpoint, I would put in here patrol leader. I would put in here like mission commander, which I think is some sort of SEAL thing. Not to down the SEALs. I mean, I know a couple of SEALs. It's just I have no idea what the hell those guys do. I say it this way because, here, let's just write this in big red bold. I care about two things. The highest billet a veteran has ever achieved. And if you can't tell me what your billet was, then you didn't achieve a very high billet. And then your highest ability to instruct. All right, so why is that? Because this means that you've had to do something where you were responsible. And this means, to a degree, you've had to be a leader of sorts. Can you be a teacher and not necessarily a good leader? Absolutely. But instructors are not necessarily teachers, right? The age-old saying is, if you can't do, teach. I kind of, sort of, a little bit agree with that, but not really. My saying, personally, is if you can't do, teach, and if you can do, instruct. I say it that way because an instructor is training somebody and being able to go out and use that knowledge as a tool to be able to, conquer scenarios and things of that nature. Teachers are not necessarily always doing that stuff. They're teaching the early stage fundamentals that are necessary in order for the student to be able to go back to primary and secondary resources to continue doing that knowledge gathering on their own. Whereas, instructors are training you potentially in a skill, right? So when you learn how to manipulate a machine gun, an instructor does that. Whereas when you're taught how to read, write, arithmetic, things of that nature, you're done so in a classroom by a teacher. So I say it that way because your highest instructor position, whether you're an A chief, a chief instructor, maybe you weren't a chief whatsoever, you worked at a schoolhouse, maybe you didn't, you went through a coach's course or whatever and you didn't apply it, whatever your highest ability to instruct somebody else, that can demonstrate a high ability to be able to lead, because you can make a carbon copy of yourself to an extent, but you also have enough knowledge or working knowledge to be dangerous. So you have enough understanding inside of what all of these specialists can do. I would rather have really, really smart people on my team and be the dumbest person in the room whenever we have staff meetings as the executive leader. So it's not always the smartest person that's in the highest billet. It could, for the most part, be the wisest person, and that depends on the organization that you go into. But I say billet because it's most responsibility. So were you a platoon sergeant? Were you a chief instructor? How much ordnance were you in charge of? How many people were you in charge of? Basically, what were the nouns? Were you in charge of people, places, or things? And what were you in charge of? And that will determine your billet. From an instructor standpoint, I want to know what you've taught, but I would rather know the level that you've instructed at, frankly, than what you've taught. So that matters more to me personally. So those are a few of my qualifiers. I just kind of went all over the place on this one. So I am going to take the pictures of these and get them up on Instagram and up on Facebook for you guys to share. I will continue to go live like a madman, and I hope that you are enjoying the videos. Please continue to share them. You're going to see them across on 5 Paragraph also as we continue to migrate everything along. So thank you so much for joining us and being a part of the conversation as we are growing the community. I thank you so much for our early stage 5 Paragraph users, and really, really, really appreciate those 5-star reviews on Amazon. You guys are awesome. Please keep them coming. And if you've got 5 Paragraph on Amazon and you haven't already done so, I would really appreciate one of those reviews on there. Every little bit helps. We've had folks who have gotten on there, middle school teachers, who've given us reviews, which I think is really, really cool, and command sergeants major who speak to the level of expertise that this Marine has. So thank you so much. Honestly, it's humbling seeing what you guys have to say about this. So I do appreciate it. Thank you for sticking with me, and keep the conversation going. Take care, be well, and we'll see you on our next live event. Adios.